Chris wiped spaghetti sauce off her chin with her napkin. Maybe later. No, Lindy answered. She wants me to perform at Amy's birthday party with Slappy. Your first job, Mr. Powell said, a smile crossing his slender face. Amy and Ben liked Slappy so much they insisted on him, Lindy said. Mrs. Marshall is going to pay me $20. That's great, her mother exclaimed. She passed the salad bowl across the table to her husband. It had been a week since Lindy rescued Slappy from the dumpster. Every day after school, she had spent hours in her room rehearsing with him, working on his voice, practicing, not moving her lips, thinking up jokes to perform with him. Chris kept insisting the whole thing was dumb. I can't believe you're being such a nerd, she told her sister. She refused to be an audience for Lindy's routines. But when Lindy brought Slappy into school on Friday, Chris's attitude began to change. A group of kids had gathered around Lindy outside her locker. As Lindy made Slappy talk for them, Chris watched from down the hall. She's going to make a total fool of herself, Chris thought. But to her surprise, the kids hooted and howled. They thought Slappy was a riot. Even Robbie Martin, the guy Chris had a crush on for 2 years, thought Lindy was terrific. Watching Robbie laugh along with the other kids made Chris think hard. Becoming a ventriloquist might be fun. And profitable. Lindy was going to earn $20 at the Marshall's birthday party, and when word got around, she'd probably perform at a lot of parties and earn even more money. After dinner that evening, Lindy and Chris washed and dried the dishes. Then Lindy asked her parents if she could practice her new comedy routine on them. She hurried up to her room to get Slappy. Mr. and Mrs. Powell took a seat on the living room couch. Maybe Lindy will be a TV star, Mrs. Powell said. And of course, this is the time that my sugar glider decides to start barking. I'm sorry guys, he's gonna do this for about 5 minutes and then he's gonna stop. I'm gonna pause the video and come back when he's done. I apologize guys, I'm back. When my sugar glider gets scared, he starts barking and it usually takes about 5 minutes for him to stop. Let's continue. Maybe, Mr. Powell agreed, settling back on the couch, a pleased smile on his face. Barky yapped and climbed between Mr. and Mrs. Powell, his tiny stub of a tail wagging furiously. You know you're not allowed on the couch, Mrs. Powell said, sighing. But she made no move to push Barky off. Chris sat down away from the others, on the floor by the steps, cradling her chin in her hands. were you so rude to Chris? Mr. Powell jumped up from the couch. Stop acting dumb and apologize to your sister, he ordered. Lindy Powell slapped his head. I'm sorry, she made the dummy say. No, in your own voice, Mr. Powell insisted, crossing his arms in front of his chest. Slappy didn't hurt Chris. You did. Okay, Lindy muttered, blushing. She avoided Chris's angry stare. I'm sorry. Here. She dumped Slappy into Chris's arms. Chris was so surprised she nearly dropped the dummy. Slappy was heavier than she'd imagined. Now what am I supposed to do with him? Chris asked Lindy. Lindy shrugged and crossed the room to the couch, where she dropped down beside her mother. Why'd you make such a fuss? Mrs. Powell whispered, leaning close to Lindy. That was so babyish. Lindy blushed. Slappy is mine. Why can't something be mine for once? Sometimes you girls are so nice to each other, and sometimes... Mrs. Powell's voice trailed off. Mr. Powell took a seat on the padded arm of the chair across the room. How do I make his mouth work? Chris asked, tilting the dummy upside down to examine its back. There's a string in his back inside the slit in his jacket, Lindy told her grudgingly. You just pull it. Pull it. I don't want against her face again. She pushed them away. Feeling sleepy, she started back to bed. She had only gone one step when Slappy reached up and grabbed her wrist. Dun dun dun. And this is where we are going to end this evening's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I apologize for the interruptions of my pets, but I can't control them. I hope you like and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And I will see you